Alright, we're almost there. Hang in there. This is going to be the part where I show you how to texture this. The first part of the texturing is going to be the windows. Basically, I'm going to show you how to use the window generator to get the three types of windows we need here, or windows and doors. We basically have the double pane here, the single, and then the door itself. And go ahead and open the you can actually go into Unity here and open the V131 window generator. It's in the PSDs folder, and if you double click on the window door generator, it should open in Adobe. It's about 1.5 gigabytes, so I know some people may struggle a little bit to handle it. Unfortunately, just because of all the textures that I've got in it, it's the way it's done. And what we're going to do is we're going to change this C1R1. And so I go ahead and column 1, C1R1. Let's get rid of the shutters. And for the window, we're going to choose this skyscraper window. And let's make sure the 4x6, go ahead and hide that. So see, the skyscraper window is kind of close to what we're going for, but we just want two sort of symmetrical panes. And so I'm going to cheat a little bit here. I'm going to Control plus to move in. You can also use your magnifying glass here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy this inner window. So I'm just going to use my selection tool and copy that. I'm also going to hide the text here so we can work with that in our view, or out of our view. And so what I'm going to do now is I've got this skyscraper. Make sure you have the skyscraper layer picked, and then you do edit copy, edit paste, or Control C, Control V. And then you'll see I've got the window, and I'm going to put it off to the side here and then paste another one and then just line that up, and that's going to get me my sort of double pane window. Now for the other one, you can do the same. You could even take the pieces on the side for the skyscraper if you want that for the single. Let's just take the middle pane and just keep using that. You can also go download other panes off the internet that you might desire, but I'm just going to use this one. It may get a little boring by using the same window. You'll also know that by doing that, you're also going to see the shadowing that's going to be the same on all of them. Now this one I want to be a little skinnier. If you looked at that, it's a little, well, actually it looks like for the single pane it's about the same, so let's leave that as is. The other thing is you can change the size of your planes in Blender to shrink these down as well, but we'll bring this in and see how that looks. Now the only other thing we need to change, now this was C1R2, remember when we were building we used C1R1, C1R2, and then we use C3R2 as our door, and so the door looks sort of similar, I would imagine. You can kind of guess on it. So I'm going to use this same pane just out of convenience, and then we're just going to scale it. So you do edit transform and scale, and then you can just kind of shrink it down. And remember, these are going to be at a distance, so they're not going to be analyzed or overanalyzed except for the people that are zooming way in, and you know, you don't really need to worry about that too much. In the normal course of play, some of these finer things never really get noticed. Alright, so that'll work for our door as well. To be clean, you can hide the other part that was showing up on the C3R2. You can hide, that's here, door 1, C3R2. You can hide the body and the trim. You can hide the door altogether. And then if I hid my, you see it's not there anymore. So anyway, this is all we need. Now remember, if you're doing multiple buildings, I would suggest getting all your windows. You could even do 5 to 6 buildings with these same window panels. And just the way that we've got it done, it just makes you share materials. And the beauty of that is it reduces some of the draw calls in Unity. So let's save this now. So we'll do File, Save As, and we'll find that apartment folder that I had made. I think I was in Forums, Apartment Tutorial, and then I'm going to save this as a PNG file, and that's going to be my Windows Doors PNG, and I'm going to go ahead and save that, replacing the one I've got. And then you come back into Unity now, and really you can go into your apartment folder and we can start building the materials for this. You could also do it inside of your V131 folder if you want. It really depends on how you want to keep track of your materials. You can leave all your materials inside of the V131 and still use them for this. You can create a separate folder for just your separate buildings and use them in there. Just for convenience, I'm going to put it in the V131 for mine. And I'm just going to drop this texture in by going Import New in the window door texture. And remember, you can really put it anywhere. And then I'm going to bring in this Windows Doors. Now you'll see I made a mistake. I actually have the green lines on that, so you may have picked up on that. So come back here to the legend. You want to make sure you turn on the legend when you export. The grid lines won't show up, but your legend will. And so turning off those fluorescent green lines, and so go File, Save As, and we'll do that PNG again and overwrite that previous file. It's always good to make mistakes, show you how to get out of them. So let's go ahead and delete that, import that texture again, and then I'm going to make come here to window 1 or 2, Control D that, and it will make window 03, and I'm just going to rename this window apartment. And you just left click once on those to rename. So left click once to make it blue or highlighted, left click again, and then you can do it. You don't want to double click it. Now we got to change the texture of this. The window apartment needs our new Windows door that we just imported here. Probably should have renamed that as well, but now you'll see when we drag it on one of the windows, and this is why we did those layers in Unity, or sorry, in Blender. I now can just drop it into one window spot and it changes them all. You may prefer it to be more dynamic and drag and drop on each of these so that you would have some selection over the process, but in the end this is one material now, and I like that. It's quick. So now all we need to do is the railing and the main textures. The railing is already provided for you if you like. What I like to do is choose the white one, choose metal white. It's not fancy for this. And if you do that and you use white, the cool thing is you can make it any color you want. So if you come up top here and go to the hue selector, since the base color is white, you could make it red or whatever color you want. And so in the end I'm going to leave it as white, but just to show you, if you bring in the black, you obviously can't tint the black very well. So the white as a base color allows you to change the color to whatever you like it to be. Now we're almost done here. Just hang in for just a second, and we're going to go back and look at what that looked like, the blueprint. So it's sort of this orange brick and then this lighter white gray stone, and then we should be pretty much done, I believe. So come into here, and on the base custom, all I'm going to do is pick the brick and do Control D. And well, we actually had a brick orange there. Let's just use the brick orange. As long as you know you're not using it for something else and you set the color for something custom. You may want to call it brick apartment so that you don't confuse it maybe with another object you have. And that's a little too dark for my liking. It's a little better. And then we're going to get the stone here. I'm going to use, if you go into the main materials in the base, I'm going to grab this marble. Marble is essentially a flat stone, but it kind of like the look. It's similar to what they've kind of got on here. It appears to be almost a polished stone. The other option would be sort of a concrete block you could go with. Let's see what that. Let's try concrete block, honestly. So I'll Control D concrete block, and now you can drag it down to your custom folder. You don't have to. It just kind of helps keep you organized. And you could call this concrete block apartment. And I'm going to go ahead and drop that in. And actually, that actually looks pretty good. That's probably what you'd build an apartment out like this with. And I'm going to make it kind of a blue-gray light. And then you're also going to need to drag this, depending how you want to do this. You could do the same to the roof. But you also might want to kind of notice there's some separation. Maybe my tiling, or if we didn't snap those correctly, but I don't think those will be the end of the world. The other thing you might want to do is just a plain concrete, and you can get that by doing like the stucco. And let's Control D the stucco and drop that down into our custom, and you'll see that's just sort of almost like a brick. You can use it as like a painted texture as well. I use it for the fascia on the roofs, but let's make that the same gray as the concrete block. So you can double click on this and copy, Control C the hex color, and then come into your stucco and then drop the same color in if you want it to match. And so that's basically it. Let's see. Why did I do that backwards? My brain's not working real well. Let's make the side brick in the middle concrete. Duh. Alright, that's more like it. So let's take a look at what we were shooting for, where we finished up. Maybe that orange could have a touch more hue to that. Oh. That's looking a little better, and then I would actually make my concrete block. It needs to be a little lighter. Copy that hex color with Control C and then drop it back on my stucco. Now, probably, since you're not going to see it, you're not going to be up real close on this, you might want to just put your concrete block. It'll save a little bit on the draw calls. You could just put the concrete block. That doesn't look too bad as well on that. So in the end, it'll end up with 4 or 5 materials depending how you want to do it. The stone, the brick, the railing, and the windows, and then plus or minus on the stucco. So, all right, good luck. Hope to see you guys do some creative things. I'm going to supply this apartment that I made. Please don't use the same colors that I used on it.